Welcome all my homebuyers out there. My name is Omar Pineda, your Austin realtor with the XP Realty, and today we are in the city of Jarrell, Texas, in a community called Rancho del Cielo, and the builder we're looking at is Lennar. Now, if you're renting right now and you've been looking for a community or a house that is what you're paying in rent or possibly a little bit less, then I have found not only the city, not only the communities, but the builder. Lennar is offering brand new homes. We're talking 3 beds, 2 baths at a very affordable price that people are buying. What really drew my interest to this community when I was doing my research was they sold within the last 90 days over 30 homes. Now, why is that significant? Because their competition and surrounding them isn't even coming close to keeping up with those numbers. Now, I went to go visit this community to find out why. Now, all the homes in this community are under $300,000 for the most part. If you are looking for a little bit more like a to be built, you could probably get up there in that price point. But again, keep in mind, they are building these homes, taking out like all the bells and whistles and just giving you the bare bones of what you would need as a homeowner. Right? Now, case in point, this kitchen, what kind of looks different to you right off the bat? To me, I noticed that the cabinetry is very standard, right? Very standard color, and there's no finishes. It's like there's no little knobs to open the cabinets. Those are little small details that for you to take note of. These shouldn't be deal breakers, right? Because again, this community is selling, and it will sell out at the pace that they're currently going at. Now, not only are they selling this home at an affordable price point, but they're including the appliances: washer, dryer, refrigerator, microwave, oven. They even have, so think of all the home appliances taken care of, which is really nice. That's a couple $1,000s there. And this home has the blinds, which is, again, not something standard. If we were in a seller's market like we were a few years ago, none of these things would be possible, right? But we're getting all these things on top of some flexible cash that the builder will give to you to help pay for those closing costs, help buy down that interest rate, again, to help you get into this home. Now, I almost forgot to mention, if you stay till the end of the video, I'm going to show you what community I found next for a couple $100s more would have all the bells and whistles that you want in the same area, and it has a more attractive property tax rate. So stay till the end. Now, notice this doesn't have a walk-in pantry, but that's okay. Maybe that's not a deal breaker. It shouldn't be a deal breaker because you can make that work. One thing to note were the light switches. I had to look this up. So they have the standard old school, I remember this from my childhood days, toggle light switches, right? Which not a deal breaker. More of the newer stuff is like the push kind of light switch. But again, something I noticed. Now, also something I noticed was in all the bedrooms, there are no ceiling fans. Not in the living room, not in the primary bedroom, which is something I typically see for most other builders, is they include a ceiling fan just for the primary and the living room, but this one has nothing. But I want to say that it probably will become wired, so you can install one yourself after you move in, and you could probably get a better quality like 5-blade ceiling fan. That's one of those things I would advise my clients, that you don't want to negotiate that and have the builder install it, because they'll probably jack up the price. That's something you could probably buy on your own and do it yourself. But there's something to note. Okay. Now, one way to look at this, because I know if some people are looking at this like, man, this is very plain. It's very white. Think of it as a blank canvas on how creative you can be with having a textured wall, having some wallpaper. Wallpaper would elevate this place big time. You should see some of the more luxury homes I go to. They just do one side wallpaper, and I hope it makes a comeback, and it just elevates the entire room. That's something to think about. Now, again, this is a 3-bed, 2-bath home. Very standard architectural plan where you have all the bedrooms on one side, and on the other side you have like the living room, the kitchen, right? They call it that, like a shotgun style home, where if you shot a shotgun, it would go through all the bedrooms, right? That's how this house looks like, with the primary bedroom in the back. Now, some things to know about this community is that it is all electric. I know that's going to be a deal breaker for you some, but most of the communities I've seen in Jarrell are all electric. right? So not natural gas. So let me know in the comments if you live in Jarrell and in one of the newer communities and it's natural gas, because that's something I would have to dive a little bit deeper to see which communities have that. The HOA is high for me. $100 is not cheap. Now they do have an amenity center, or amenities, I should say, that are almost completed. I'll have a drone shot of that a little bit towards the end of this video, but that is high. That is high for me. That's gonna add up. The tax rate is high for me too. 2.83% is high. So here's that washer and dryer that comes with the house. These are GE products. I think they are missing the dryer, but don't worry. If you want to buy this house, and this house currently is for sale, this is a quick moving home, then we can definitely get that, and I can easily negotiate that for you. But I think they said it included for when I record this video, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna have it. Now notice that this garage, even though it is finished, it does not have that garage opener. Now I'm not sure if that does not come with it or if they're just not including it, but that's something I think we can negotiate. Now 2.83 is high. You're going to feel that in the years to come, because as your home value increases, your property tax rate will not change, but your home will increase, and that's gonna you might see a slight increase in your property tax as the years come. There is another community on the same side of where I found this one that has a much better tax rate, and we'll have to stick to the end to find out. This is part of the Jarrell ISD school district, and I would say this community is amenity rich, because check a look at this drone shot. You can see that they're almost done. They're going to have a resort style pool. I see a kids playground. I see some canopies where it looks like they might have some splash pads, maybe. And we saw that pickleball court. Now take a look at, this is the community. This is one section. This is one phase of the community. And I think this is a great shot, so you can see like this from a bird's eye view. Now keep in mind, take note of like the 2 stories, right? There's only a handful of 2 stories. The majority of these homes are single story. Now the advantage of having a 2-story is you're gonna have a lot more backyard space. So if a big backyard is something you really want, then a 2-story might make a little bit more sense. But if you don't care about that, then a 1-story makes even more sense, because from a resale perspective, 1-stories always sell better than having stairs. Oh, one thing I did not mention. I'm going to pause it here. Let me go back over here. There is no covered back patio. That was one big one that they did decide not to add, again, to save you costs, so you can get into a price point, which makes sense to me. And there's no gutters, right? That's usually kind of not standard, but most builders offer that. But they took that out to bring down the price point. That's something that I would pay close attention to, because gutters help with protecting that foundation. And in this part, in Jarrell, Texas, you are going to get heavy rains. You are going to get hail. So more so for the heavy rains, you want to protect that foundation. So that's something that to keep in mind, that within the first couple of years, you might want to invest in your home by installing some gutters. And again, that's all going to increase your resale value, because if your home has gutters and your next door neighbors do not, that's a competitive advantage. But for what Lennar is offering at the price point for their product, I think is making a lot of sense, and the numbers show it. Let me pause here. I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing. Now take a look at this. This is Rancho del Cielo. This is my system, right? This is a snapshot of this specific community, and you can see here everything in red, red C. These are all their closings. So since June of this year, 2024, they have sold close to 40 homes. Close to 40 homes. That, if you compare that to their surrounding communities, they don't even come close. I'm talking about other builders in surrounding communities are selling in the single digits, not double digits. So that's what really drew my attention to this community, was like, why is it selling so hot? Because Lennar built a product that people can afford, and even though it does not have all the bells and whistles, people can get past that because they know, like, hey, I'm just throwing away my money when I'm renting, and you can get into this house almost for what you're paying in rent. So keep that in mind. And not to mention that the builder's offering the home appliance kind of package, and they're offering some cash back, flexible cash to you, the buyer, to help with those closing costs. This little column right here, these are buyer closing costs paid by the seller being the builder in this case, right? So these numbers, $13,000, $15,000, $11,000, that's what the builder gave to the buyer to help with some of those closing costs, right? And we could even use it to help lower that interest rate. I know this builder had a very competitive interest rate. Most builders right now are offering a very competitive interest rate, probably lower than what the rest of the market is offering, because they're just bigger players in the game, so they can buy points to lower the interest rate, and that's just the nature of the beast. Now, take a look. As I scroll down, again, there's 70 homes here that we're looking at. Everything that you see with the orange P, these are all pending. They have a healthy chunk of homes that are pending right now. And everything you see with the green A, that's all of the remaining inventory. So not a whole lot. Now, what does that look like from a map perspective? Let's have a look. Hang on a second. Let me see. Okay, so here's the map of the community, and you can see everything in red has been sold, and everything in green is what they kind of currently have available for a quick move-in. Now, if you notice that drone shot towards the end of the video, you could see that was this area right here. And in the very beginning of the video, that drone shot where I was kind of panning, so you could see that curb appeal for all the homes and just like see a little bit what that looks like. That was this street, Rancho del Cielo, right? You can see that they have a few homes that are ready to move in. And then right here was where that amenities, the amenity center was right here, that they're building right here. So they still have a more opportunities that they're going to have available, not only in 2024, but in 2025. Now, I wanted to show you really quickly a little bit what's happening in the community, because one thing about Jarrell that people always say is that it's far, and I want to address that, right? It does seem far if you're looking at it from the context of like you want to be close to downtown Austin, right? It is far. It is far if you're talking about like you want to be close to maybe the nightlife, or close to like an actual feel of a town or a city, right? Because Jarrell is not there yet. I got like the Midland, Odessa vibes, if you know, you know, because it's still like an emerging market, right? They don't have a whole lot of things going other than the norm of having a grocery store, a couple of restaurants, but nothing big. If you want all that, you would have to go to Georgetown. But Georgetown is not far. It's pretty much a 15-minute drive, right? A 15-minute drive. So is that 15-minute drive worth the cost? Because everything in Georgetown, in Leander, south of Jarrell, you're not going to find homes in the 200s. Very, very rare. If you do, hop on that. Because only in the outskirts of Austin is where you're going to be finding homes that are starting in the 200s. And Jarrell is one of those places. So for a 15-minute drive, because in Georgetown you can scratch that itch. Georgetown has that city square. It has plenty of things to do, both indoor and outdoor. So that would be worth it to me. Not to mention for all my Costco people, because I'm a Costco guy, right? I want to live pretty close to a Costco. They just opened one. So if north of Georgetown, they opened up this brand new Costco. And when I was driving back down to Cedar Park from Jarrell, that's where I noticed like, ooh, there's a Costco not too far from this community, not too far from Jarrell. Right, so that's a big plus to me. Now, another thing that I'm really excited about, because Jarrell is going to explode one way or another, because there's so much momentum coming for Austin right now, and developers are very confident in the future of Austin. Case in point, this community right here. Check this out. So this is Solana Ranch. It was owned privately by the McCaw family. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So this developer is going to be purchasing roughly over 7,000 acres to build a new master plan residential community. But this isn't going to be your residential community where you're going to have your homes and then like an amenity center. They're going to be building like a new downtown for Jarrell. Think of it like if you're in Leander, looking at Leander, think of Northline. If you're looking at more North Austin, think of the Domain. Like that kind of caliber downtown vibe, downtown square where they're going to have entertainment, dining, offices, recreational facilities, schools, and churches. This is going to be huge. If you look at the articles by Austin Business Journal, they're going to be spending more than $2 billion. That's what they're estimating right now. More than $2 billion for Solana Ranch. So that just tells you over $2 billion, and it's set to open in the late 2026. Okay, that this area has a lot of room for future growth, and getting in now in the low 200s, 5-10 years from now, these will probably be in the 400s. Who knows? But you're getting in at the ground floor where you have a lot of just room for equity to build, right? But you want to make sure you get into a home that's going to have a great resale value, and it's going to be at a price point that you can afford. And this community is offering that. Lennar is offering that, regardless of what they've taken away to make it affordable. Okay, so what should you do for the home buyer and you're looking to buy in the next 30, 60 days? Definitely hit me up. I'll have all my information in the description. But if you're looking to buy in 2025, or maybe not right away, I still want to talk. I'll have my information linked so we could do a virtual discovery call. I actually prefer that, and I advise you to go that way, because that way we can have a little face-to-face time, and I usually have like the more meaningful conversations that way than if you just simply call me and I'm in the middle of doing something. Then I'm usually not focused, and it's hard for me to get back on track. But we can have a lot more meaningful conversation. I can show you a lot more in-depth data that I'm seeing for this community, not just for this community, but for the city of Jarrell, that I can't possibly capture all in one video. But that's something we can definitely talk about during our consultation, and I can give you a really good market update on the new construction happening, and not just in Jarrell, but the surrounding areas, because I keep a pulse on the new construction market here in the Austin area. I specialize in new construction, constantly touring new builds, speaking with builders, keeping up to date with all the incentives so you don't have to. And if you're looking to buy new construction, because in my opinion, if you're looking for a great deal and a brand new home, so you have that home warranty, you have the peace of mind that nothing's going to break right away for the most part, then that's what new construction, especially for the Austin area, you're going to be your win-win. Because I'm not, for the last year or so, I haven't seen anyone able to match what builders are offering in terms of like that interest rate. Builders are offering interest rates that are a few points, a few percentages, whole percentages lower than what the current market rate is. Okay. And again, we can talk about more about that in depth with the builder, because again, these incentives change daily, right? And I used to say like 3 or 4%, but then it changes too frequently, where it just didn't make sense to articulate that, because the builder at their discretion can take away the incentives, because think of it like a pool of money. And once that pool of money runs out, then they have to go back to their lender to purchase more discount points so they can, offer a lower loan amount, a lower percentage to the buyers, to you, the buyer. So again, this home is for sale. So if you're interested, let's go tour it today before it sells out, because as I showed you earlier, it's probably not going to last very soon. They've been on a hot streak, this builder in this community, because of the price point. So my name is Omar Pineda. I'm your Austin realtor with eXp Realty. I really appreciate you for watching. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Send this to someone send this to somebody. Send this to one of your friends. If you are renting together and you have a really awesome friend, next door neighbor, and you're tired of renting, this is a price point that you can afford. And let me show you really quickly what that monthly looks like. So I quickly ran the numbers for, I think it was for this, no, not this one. It was another home, but it's roughly around the same numbers, right? The home price I put here is $257, but the one we were doing here is $237,990. I can actually change that fairly quickly. Let's take a look at that. I'm gonna have to share my screen one more time. Let's take a look. Okay, look at that. Well, yeah, 2.8 is a tax rate. $2,045. That is roughly what your monthly payment would look like. And that's pretty comparable to what you're paying in rent. Jarrell, Texas is one of those cities that when they say like you can actually probably pay less than what you're paying in rent, they're not lying. Not for Jarrell, at least. So I'll have all of my information linked in the description. Again, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate you for watching, and then I'll catch you in the next one.